after a long hiatus, we're back. We're back in business. I feel
When
like
was when was our last show? It's
I,
been a minute.
I feel like the only times when we record is when the stock market is up. So,
Nobody wants
um,
to listen to a depressing pod.
but no matter when we record, I'm always down in the rankings and losing money. One
I
of those
haven't
things.
checked actually. Am I still up? It's been
I haven't checked either. I got to go open up that spreadsheet.
no,
We
you got a
haven't
couple on me.
finished. We haven't finished season 3, so I haven't even put up that spreadsheet tracker yet. But anyway,
Mm.
the market is up. We're recording. The vibes are good. It's summertime.
They're good. Bitcoin's up.
Bitcoin's up.
Crypto's hot. You know
We're
what's up?
making money.
Axon's up 30% since we were calling.
Oh yeah.
That was a good one.
I'm happy, but I don't think I bought it. So
All right, I took a little nibble. I always like to have a piece of the ones we cover, just so I could track it.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the only one that Palantir's been the big winner of that group.
Oh my God, Palantir.
But yeah, it's been wild.
Just
Yeah,
so
wild.
good. Such a good company. And in the sense that the stock price has gone up. I haven't even really kept track of the business, so I'm not sure if the
I'll just
fundamentals
tell
have.
you from like yeah, forget the fundamentals. From a market traction, market perception standpoint, they're in
Forget the
every deal
fundamentals.
I see. Like
Wow.
anyone doing anything with AI at scale, it's like
Uh-huh.
pick your big name companies and Palantir. They're in every deal. And like they
Really?
have so much regulatory green light because of their government footprint. It's just like I don't know, man. They're in
Nice.
everything. Yeah, they're doing well. Good business.
Well, it's good to see them doing well. That was one of our earliest episodes. And today we are talking about another money making machine, I would say, from the
Oh
very
yeah.
beginning till today.
Yes, sir.
Zuckerberg's money printing machine, Meta. And I think the struggle for me when I was doing the research for this is that I am like operating at a huge disadvantage here because when I look at all of that family of apps that Meta owns, I don't use any of them. Like I have a Facebook account, but I haven't logged in years. So, and I ignore all the email notifications that they send me to try to lure me back. I used to have an Instagram, but I found it kind of boring. So I just deleted it. It's not on my phone. I never opened a Threads app. So I don't even have a Threads account. I use X for a lot of like keeping up with the news and doing stock market research. Messenger, I never downloaded it, never tried it. And
That's funny.
WhatsApp, I only use it because the people who are not on iOS have forced me to use it. So I use it to talk to them on
See,
like,
I
Thread.
would message you on WhatsApp, but you never respond there. You only respond in text, so it's just not
try,
effective. But
try it
I use,
again. Try it again.
I will, because
I have notifications enabled now on WhatsApp. So
99% of my comms are in WhatsApp.
really, you don't
Yeah,
use the
almost all of them.
iOS? The
It's because you don't
the
travel enough. If you go abroad, if you have
Yeah.
friends living in other, like, you know, other countries for sure, but
Yeah.
anything with like weird zip codes or time number, all that stuff, and you want group texts, you have like friends, groups of friends, doing the like, I don't know, man, iOS with the multicolor, you got some Android, some iOS, it's awful. You can't do basic things like voice chat with mixed text. WhatsApp is just infinitely better, infinitely better.
Yeah.
I promise you, if you use WhatsApp for 2 weeks, you'll never turn back. It's that
Really?
much better.
Okay.
Guaranteed. Yeah,
Okay.
I was a big iOS guy.
I'm still
10
using it
years.
just out of
Yeah,
sheer
10
habit,
years.
like the sheer
Just only would you
momentum of
don't
habit.
only text me blue to blue. I don't want to
Mhm.
hear otherwise, but yeah,
Yeah.
moving to WhatsApp,
I
you
have
have different
noticed
groups. It makes a
that
big difference.
when I send pictures or short videos to people who are not on iOS, I get these super annoying error messages. So that's part of the reason why WhatsApp is so much better. Like I never get these like annoying green bubble error messages, can't send file or whatever. You don't want to deal with that kind of nonsense. So it is
Dude,
smoother.
I could sing praises for WhatsApp all
Yeah.
day. Sending videos, sending pictures, sharing content, creating like subgroups of people. Like I have my carpool on there and it's grouped
Mm.
as carpool and I can
Wow.
archive it so I don't get a notification when it comes in. It's just like
Yeah.
there's a 30 text groups. It does get overwhelming, but it's way better than on text. Also,
Yeah.
you can pair it to the computer. So I just open the WhatsApp app on my desktop and I don't have to have my phone out all day.
Wow. I'm really behind.
Just do it. Yeah.
I didn't even know that there
Get
was a
yourself
desktop
together.
app for WhatsApp. That's
You're
hilarious. But
embarrassing yourself
so
right now.
I'm blind. I'm flying blind here. I'm recording a podcast episode with you here on Meta, but
Have you
I literally
used
don't
any
use
of the
any.
products? Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
a
use any of the
big
products.
man.
It's
I'll
like
tell you. So,
it's like we're gonna talk about McDonald's, but I've never eaten a burger.
dude, I traveled. I would have traveled up to 3 hours to try various products for this podcast because it would
Nice,
be fun.
nice. That's
I haven't had to.
commitment.
The only one I haven't been able to, it was Dutch Brothers. I would have loved
Ah,
to have tried that.
yes,
But everything
I've
else,
gone to do that, but I haven't bought stuff from Elf. It's just that Michelle, my
I
wife
put
has.
on a ton of makeup for the pod. I just wanted to see some concealer. It didn't
It has
matter.
to
It can't
drag for you.
just lipstick on a pig, man. But Facebook's interesting, dude. I'll be honest. We were I don't know if we were working together. They IPO'd in 2012. Is that right?
Yeah.
So I remember when they IPO'd, the share price, the target price was like 40, and
Yeah.
it rolled out and it had a bad IPO. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember that. It was like
I
a big
remember that.
deal, and like the bankers were complaining about something. Like it didn't go as planned, and the stock actually went down. Usually, just for reference,
Yeah.
when a big tech name like Facebook at the time, which was the biggest IPOs, you expect a target price of 40 and it goes to
Yeah.
70 and
Yeah.
everyone's really excited and tons of liquidity for the team that had been sitting on private shares. Now everybody's rich, paper millionaire, right? Like that's how it goes. This was weird. It was like target price of 40. It launched at 30, like high 30s, and kind of dribbled down into like 17, 18 range.
I bought in the
Um,
20s.
I bought in the teens, dude. So I had
Dude.
Facebook. My initial position in Facebook was like $19 a share, which was
Yeah, that's pretty
nuts.
good. Yeah.
And I
Smokingly
sold, I
good price.
remember it got to like 40. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I did great.
Yeah, me too.
I,
Me too. I
I
sold
did
it.
great.
I paper
Yeah.
handed that. I paper
I
handed that
paper handed
position.
that real bad. Yeah.
I
So I
think I
made
sold it
like,
even earlier than you. I was like 28. I'm out. Like I didn't hold it for the rest
well,
of the ride.
there's a great quote that I always forget or butcher, but it's like we tend to underestimate the degree of change and overestimate the rate of change.
Yes, true.
I
I
think I
think
got it right
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's
I hear
like
you.
with Facebook, it was like, okay, it's a social network. There's not a huge moat around this business. There can be a better one tomorrow. I remember Instagram was already kind of like creating their big business, or they had just gotten acquired right before. I don't remember, but it wasn't hard to envision a future state without Facebook. And I'd already like, I was barely using it in 2012. I haven't used it in years, like 10 years probably. I
So
haven't
you don't
opened
use
it.
Facebook either.
Zero. I don't use Facebook. I use their other
I don't know
products.
anybody who really uses Facebook a lot. That's crazy.
Yeah, so here's the thing. So if you look at Facebook, I mean, when it started, obviously a big deal. But what they have now, they bought Instagram, which is probably one of the biggest social media sites on the planet. They bought WhatsApp, which I've already told you is the greatest communications app I think that exists.
They don't make money on
And
WhatsApp though. But yeah, all
not
right,
yet.
keep going. Sorry.
They
Yeah,
can, and
yeah,
the data there is what's going to be interesting. But I
right.
think if you had to parse what they have, it's basically four buckets. They have like social media stuff: Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger. Messenger sucks. Threads sucks. By the way, I don't even include Threads because I think it's kind of useless. But like, those are their social media assets. Then you have this Reality Labs, which is they bought Oculus,
Mhm.
Oculus Quest is now called the Meta Quest, and that's their VR product. Actually, I have one right here. Sure.
Do you like it?
You're right. I want to get into that. Here, look,
Okay.
headset. I should have done this whole pod in
I,
VR.
I've never
So
tried.
yeah, so this is how cool you could look if you
I
also had one of these.
I'm so behind on the AR stuff because I've never even put on an Oculus ever, and I've never
Oh yeah,
tried
dude.
The Apple Vision Pro ones either. Like I don't know what it's like.
You
I
should.
have
We
zero
need to get.
background in this. Yeah.
I need to give you. I'll give you an education. I own the original Oculus V1. And
Wow.
then I upgraded it to this one, which I think is a Quest 2, not the Quest 3. That's the newest one. I
Mm,
did buy one for my brother though and tried it, so it is better.
mm.
But again, it's hardware, so it's just how many more pixels can you cram in there, and a little bit more resolution, a little better color definition. That's their AR VR division, so that's the Reality Labs. And they have this thing called Horizon Worlds that I can talk to if you want to get into it. But it's kind of cool. It's like a immersive virtual space. You can do
We're
all kinds of
going
cool
in
stuff.
it.
Yeah, I actually tried that when it first came out, and like tons of people, everything really weird. And then like a month later, I went back to it, and there was empty. It was like desert. Everything was desert. I was like, oh, I'll go watch a K-pop concert with a bunch of people, and I roll in there, and it is wasteland. It was nuts. Anyway, so yeah, so I think that's one thing we'll have to talk about. I don't think that's going to plan. I think people talked a big game about AR and VR maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, and it just has not materialized. And then you have the AI, the Meta AI business, which I think we'll have to talk about a lot. Plus, you're getting inundated with these Ray-Ban smart glasses commercials. That fits into their AI division, which is
Do
a
you have
product that
those?
they're trying to spin up. No, and I think I have no interest in them. I'd have to try them on or play around with them to see what they can do. But
Do you
on
know
its
anybody?
face,
Do you know
no,
anybody
I
who
don't know
uses
anybody
it
that has it.
and raves about it? I have one friend who bought it and then uses it, and I think he likes it. But I had a conversation with him about it, and I'm still skeptical about recording my life and having a device on
Have you
my
seen the Black
face.
Mirror episode?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a little dystopian for me. And I feel like
Correct.
I'm an early adopter for a lot of things that are tech related, but that one's just maybe I'm getting
says
old.
says
I
the
don't know.
guy who doesn't use WhatsApp and has not tried VR. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Your credibility is
I have
shaky
an
right
Apple
now.
Watch. I have a drive a
Uh,
Tesla. I use FSD.
I use
I
FSD.
still have some
Nice.
street cred somewhere.
Yeah. I do like to also I play around with stuff. I mean, part of the reason we cover new IPO a lot, but also just stuff that people may not toy around with. I like to try things as they're coming out.
Mhm.
Just to like see what the buzz is, or that's a whole other sector, by the way, I want to talk to you about. Some of these like live stream things. So I'll take it offline. That might be a stock I want to cover with you later. But
Okay.
I like to mess around with stuff, see what the kids are doing.
Right.
And
That's a
so
smart move. That's a good
yeah,
way to do it. Yeah.
it is. It is. I think the Ray-Ban glasses to me are a little gimmicky versus like transformative. So
Mm,
if you want like the smartwatch is a wearable that has so many different purposes. The smart glasses, I just don't see it. It's different
mm,
than like heads up display on a car. It's different than like I don't know. It doesn't feel like something with staying power necessarily. I've seen smart contact lenses, which would probably be similar.
that's crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy
but
amount of
like, why is
technology.
that any different than putting it in glasses? It's really not. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. I mean,
you don't want to put things in your body,
yeah.
or maybe you do. I don't know.
Yeah. Neuralink.
Um,
I might do a Neuralink
Neuralink.
sentence. The third version of Neuralink.
All it's going to do is force you to vote Republican. That's all it's going to do. It's just it's funny that the whole right wing was built on the conspiracy theory that Bill Gates was like putting chips in your head, and
Now,
literally Elon Musk puts
Elon
chips in
is
your head.
like,
That's
and
literally
then
what he does.
I'm gonna put a wire inside your head.
Yeah. What percentage of people would trust him to do that now versus 10
Oh,
years?
0%. I think at this point, 0%. You
0%.
do that to
10,
your
10 years
political
ago,
enemies at this point, huh?
10 years ago, maybe like, yeah, cool,
1%.
Elon, tech
Yeah, yeah,
man,
yeah, yeah,
20%,
yeah,
30%. I don't know,
yeah,
be
yeah, something
jumping
like
in
that.
line for it. Now
Yeah,
it's like, phew, no way, man.
yeah, it would be
It's
zero
gonna, it's
percent.
like, he'll
Basically,
like
I
snap
mean,
his fingers, you end up working for
there
ICE.
are there are people who literally have done that, but they're like full body paraplegics,
Yeah.
or and
I
then
heard that
they're playing video games. So there
one of
are
those guys
some
was on
people,
the
but
podcast. Yeah.
yeah, but it's effectively 0%, I think, of the
Yeah,
population.
0%. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
completely torched all of his like fan friendliness, or however,
Oh
how I
yeah,
don't know, his
oh yeah.
personal net promoter score is 0. Like nobody wants anything. He's toxic.
I think it
Um,
was like a -30, -20
yeah, that was
something.
pretty funny. Whatever you sent me was pretty funny. But yeah, back to Meta. So Meta
Yeah,
Meta, if
yeah.
we had held on to our stock at $20 a share or whatever,
Don't
it's
tell
now
me.
at $715
Yes.
a share,
No,
give or
just
take.
terrible,
So that would have been
terrible.
a nice return.
Yeah.
We didn't.
Yeah, no, I'm an
But that's
idiot.
that's the
I'm an idiot.
current share
Yeah.
price. Its market cap's about 1.8 trillion. Is that
Mhm.
right? Something like that. And
Yeah.
then trading right now about 25 price to earnings ratio,
Yeah.
which is good. And it pays a little dividend, which is
It's
also
not
good.
expensive. It's not
No,
crazy
not
expensive.
expensive. For a tech stock, not expensive at all.
Yeah. Like it's a hyperscaler at this point, right? Like what is
Well, what's the core of the business? I think we talked about units and they sell things, but at the end of the day, I think 97+% of the revenue of the company is digital advertising.
Yeah, it's
So
advertising.
it's an advertising company, right?
Yes.
Or it's a platform for advertising via lots of different channels.
Yeah.
How confident are you in the advertising model as a whole going forward in an AI world, in a differently connected world, all these things that they're the ones that can continue to monetize it? I think you could make a strong case for and against. And I think that's really whether you're going to be like, wow, this is a really inexpensive stock with massive upside and I want to jump in on it, or this is a dying business and its margins are going to disappear and its pricing power is going to disappear and this business is super expensive right now.
Mhm.
That's going to be the big thing, because it's not like they have multiple different streams of revenue and ways to make money. It's all on advertising. And
Yeah.
again, it's a similar case if you look at like Google. I own a good amount of Google stock. I always have. I start to get nervous. Are you going to Google things anymore when you've got ChatGPT or
I don't.
Copilot running? I
I
haven't
rarely
Googled
Google
anything.
things. I
So
just
that's a
throw it into
huge part
a
of their business.
chat.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
Google's built on that. So
Yeah.
search, I think search is going to disappear essentially. And so now it forces you to look more, I think a little bit more of a binary decision of how do you see the digital advertising model in the future? And that's a really tough question. I don't know. That's how I see
Oh.
it at least.
I've got two big comments on that. The first is that I think it's been obvious for the longest time that in a head-to-head competition between digital advertising and what like the old Mad Men style advertising was, print media, radio, that kind of stuff, that digital advertising is a superior form of an advertising, just an ability to target, the ability to just learn more about a customer and spend less while being more effective. I just think in all forms it's superior. And Facebook, Meta, whatever, has been riding that wave for over a decade and to great success. It's now a $1.8 trillion company. At the end of the day, though, I think, like, even though I accept the premise that digital advertising is superior and that I think it will continue to be superior over linear type of advertising, like, the you're right in the sense that like there is a view on the assets that Facebook owns as kind of like limited. They've in one sense, they're a victim of their own success. I don't know how many billions of people there are in the world, but they have a large fraction of that in their user base already. What is the upside? We're not
Right.
finding more humans on a different planet. Like you got
Correct.
the whole thing already, right?
I think I
I
wrote
feel like
down,
you
hold on.
can only go down
I have
from
a
here.
Hold
And
on.
then,
I wrote back what percent. Hold on. This is good. 40% of the global population interacts with Meta's apps.
I
That's
mean,
insane.
that's an incredible achievement. It is an amazing achievement.
Insane.
And it's a victim of its own success because, like, if you've conquered the world, where do you go from there? There's no one
Yeah.
on the
So,
moon. There's no one on
right.
Mars, you know?
So, but open this up, right? So let's look at it in my binary paths. There's a bull case to be made for
Mhm.
them, which is beyond just like, let's assume that digital advertising, like you said, it is superior to linear or offline. I think almost inherently, because you have data on people and you have history, cookies, whatever, and maybe not anymore, but you have some way to target your ads and they're more
Sneaky
effective
ways
that
of
way.
tracking. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. You can get it
Sure.
effectively. Yeah.
And then now you layer in, I think the big elephant in tech right now, obviously, is AI. It's in everything. It's permeating every space, every offering, every service, right? It's now all how is this being done more efficiently? So if they can monetize AI to AI generated ads or AI creative toolkit or, integration that boosts conversion, all of a sudden they get these massive efficiencies and economies of scale that make it very interesting. And when you're talking about what they have 3.5 billion people on these apps, you're getting a tremendous amount of data, right? And
Yeah.
you're getting different kinds of data because they have Facebook, which has a whole ecosystem. They get WhatsApp, I think. I mean, it's encrypted, but I'm sure there's ways for them to parse it in a
In an
non
aggregated manner or something like that.
yeah, in an
Yeah.
anonymized or aggregated
Yeah.
way, and they can use
Yeah.
that data, and that's a different way of communicating.
Mm.
And they have Instagram, which is more visual, but with AI, you can use that data too. What kind of things are you drawn to? What's your path or whatever? If you can use that and you combine that, and this is really my bull case for Meta, if you can combine the increased efficiencies via AI. They've got incredible free cash flow, right? I mean, they're deal. They got what, 52 billion in free cash flow this
Yeah,
year, or that last year in 2024.
it's crazy.
You could do it. You could do whatever you want with that.
Yeah,
Buybacks, dividends,
infinite
more dividends,
infinite cash machine. They have
right?
an infinite cash machine. Yeah,
And
but
they're investing so much into AI, like that they know that, right? And so I guess I'll save a little more of like where I think that leads us, but um, the
well,
bull case is strong for them. It's not that far fetched to say they can continue scaling their platforms. They're not going to grow adoption at the rate they have. Again, half the world's already using all this stuff, but ads will continue, and they continue to have the most data, or a ton of data on people, like, and I want to compare it to some of the other platforms. I mean, they're just going to dwarf, we're worried about Grok and Twitter and how they vacuum up all the data. I mean, Meta has more than three times the amount of data. So, I think that's a strength for them, not a weakness.
yeah, I think that the interesting thing about them is that I know they're not going to grow anymore, or it's unlikely that they're going to grow anymore. They face challenges with competitors like TikTok, who also use AI based algorithms to hook people into using it ungodly amounts of hours per day. And it's as addictive, or perhaps even more addictive than Facebook. If you stratify the demographics as old people use Facebook and young people use TikTok, I know which one I would prefer as an investor. Yeah, because the old cohort is dying off, whereas the young ones hopefully will be growing. And I think that the on the AI side, Zuck's argument is, and I've heard it on the calls that he's had, his prediction is that AI will increase the amount of ad spending in the future. Now, obviously, he's kind of forced to say that. That has to be his bias. That is his entire business.
I think the call would
And
have gone poorly if he said something else.
yeah, that would have been gone terribly. Yeah, but he's forced to say that, but I can kind of see his argument. The flip side would be, if I had forced myself to be a bear on that one, it would be the idea that AI at scale could turn into a dystopian slop machine,
Mm.
where you're just awash, inundated with slop. And why would you want to use that one? I feel like
You think it would hurt the
um,
user experience to a
I
degree that it would affect their?
exactly. And it's not
Okay.
just you, it's all the bad actors who are using it as well on your platform. And an example for that is, I used to be a very heavy user of Reddit, especially got hooked on it during like the COVID time, when you were kind of just doom scrolling on Reddit and there's so many things on there. And at some point, I think maybe about 2.5 years ago, I got fed up with it. I felt like there was a lot of like really sneaky, manipulative things where I wasn't even really sure who I actually was talking to, and just a ton of negativity. You could also argue that the same thing about Twitter
Hmm.
being super negative, and I just got fed up with it. I deleted it, and I haven't been back on since. I never use it. And I think the
Yeah.
danger is, if you make people feel like the site is not useful for them, they wake up from their addiction, and then they'll stop using it. So there's a point.
Mm.
You got to be careful about like how you're using AI and what is happening in people's experiences. Like what it does, these apps, is that they induce a dream state, a stupor,
Yeah.
where you doom scroll and like scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. That's how they make their money. But when you introduce pain into that dream state, people will wake up. You don't want any pain in there. You want the soporific morphine like effect that keeps people scrolling forever and forever. So if you're not super careful about the use of AI, I think it could make it painful to use these sites. So
Yeah,
that's
I think
the
it already is,
double-edged
and it
sword.
is across the board. I mean, it's not unique. That problem is not unique to Meta. That's TikTok. I think is even worse, right?
Exactly.
And that's a human condition problem. Like, I don't think social media is good for our species,
No, I
and
don't think
that's
so
a
either. I
totally
don't think so
different
either.
category. But
Yeah.
like, alcohol's not good for our species
No,
either.
it's
That's
definitely
not
not.
going
No,
anywhere.
yeah.
So like,
All the
they're
vices.
devices, yeah. The fact
Yeah.
that they've managed to hotwire our neural circuits to know exactly how to keep us on the platform doesn't keep us from being on the platform. As you can see, 40% of the universe, 40% of this planet uses this stuff, and they know it's bad, or they know that there's no utility. You're not coming off that app and being like, wow, I just learned Spanish. You're not getting anything.
That would be
And
awesome
that,
though. That would,
it
yeah,
would, I
no,
mean, there's an app for that, but like
yeah.
none of that. No one is concerned right now, I think, with the lack of utility. And I think the sitting and scrolling, it takes a level of mindfulness to detach. And I
Mhm.
think your average, kudos to you. I try to do the same, but I scroll a ton, and I'm still in that Reddit cesspool. And I know I'm being fed bot accounts constantly, dude. Like
I'm stuck in
I get
the Twitter cesspool.
oh, I
I,
don't do
I
Twitter.
I'm like I gotta reduce this, but I've already cut Reddit out of my life. I think Twitter's got to be next. But anyway, sorry,
Yeah,
keep going. Yeah,
no, it's the same. I mean, to be honest, I'd show you my phone. I have time limits on every one of those. 15
yeah,
minutes,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
shut
yeah,
me
exactly.
off. It cut me off. And like, I would say I have pretty good self-control. So like, if I'm in the top 10% of self-control and I have to do that and it still doesn't always work, it's not something that, people are going to just wake up one day and say, this has no utility for me. I'm going to stop doing it because it's hit every dopamine receptor in your pathway.
Oh yeah,
So
it's pretty good. It's
it's
powerful.
pretty sticky. So I don't
Yeah,
think anyone's going to. I agree with you. The quality of the experience will maybe suffer, but it's not going to cause attrition in the same way that, like, you know if I was doing an app for working out and I started inundating it with ads, I wouldn't use it anymore because it's not helping me work out. Nobody goes on Instagram or whatever for a purpose. You do it because it's a quick fix.
yeah, because
Yeah,
your
so it's a
life
little
is
different.
boring and you want to
Yeah, it's
escape
something
it,
to do.
and
It's
you
it's
just
it's,
need that
it's
hit, that
stimulus.
dopamine hit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just a
So
stimulus.
it's
Yeah.
very addictive. Yeah.
So I think just comparing it to some of the other apps, I think this is worth looking at because I made a little grid and now I have to share it. So Reddit's
Okay.
about, I think, you extrapolate daily active users. That's the metric here. DAU. That's like very common in marketing. Your DAU for Reddit, your daily active users on Reddit, is extrapolated from their monthly active users on their reports. It looks like about 85 million, give or take. Okay.
Wow. That's a small
Yeah.
number, I feel, for like
I
that,
thought it
the
would be
busyness
bigger
of that
myself.
size. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 Then I bubbled up to TikTok, and I was like, "How TikTok doesn't disclose anything? It's a little sketch." But I think what I could find is about 1 billion monthly active user. So I
Holy
don't know if they're
smokes.
so I
That's
don't
a
know if
lot.
their daily active is about that much or not. But 1 billion monthly active, I don't know, maybe 700 million or daily out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty
Still a big
sure
number, right?
it's pretty high. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, X. You want to guess for X?
It's
Last
got to be
reported,
small. Maybe Reddit
yeah,
size.
last
That's what I would say.
250, 250
Yeah.
million. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
yeah, yeah.
it's a fraction of TikTok.
Yeah.
Snapchat, which I thought was also growing really, really quickly, is still sub 500 million. It looks like 400
Mhm,
million, give or take.
mhm.
YouTube, which is probably the biggest
That's a monster.
time competitor, time on site, like it'll hog your attention in a similar way that Instagram would hog your
Yeah.
attention.
But I think it's
Um,
useful because I learn a lot of stuff on YouTube. Like I
yeah,
fixed
I
my
think YouTube
dishwasher.
content,
Yeah, on YouTube.
yeah, YouTube content has infinitely more utility.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
And they're not necessarily selling you things at every second. You want to watch a
exactly.
2 hour live show on YouTube? You can, you know,
Yeah.
YouTube's only 1.5 billion daily
Wow.
active, which is their monthly active is 2.5 billion. So the
Yeah.
estimation was 1.5. Facebook as a standalone is 2 billion daily
What?
active.
The legacy
By
Facebook,
itself,
like blue
Facebook as a
Facebook, is two
standalone,
billion.
still the largest
Where?
platform, daily
Who
active
are
users.
all
I
these
don't,
people? Like,
they're
what is
all
going on?
like, I have no idea. I
I
really
thought it
don't know.
was
I was shocked.
much less than that. I thought it would be
That
on parity with TikTok, to be
I
honest.
thought it would be
Yeah.
closer to Reddit. I thought it was a dying platform. So I'm
Yeah, that's
wrong. So
crazy.
just
Yeah.
to like frame ourselves in scale, okay? So if
Yeah.
you got 2 billion on Facebook standalone,
Yeah.
the whole Meta universe, according to their end of year, 3.4 billion
Yeah.
daily active users on the Meta suite.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah. That is.
It's
But it's
insane.
not growing because it was like probably at 2 billion 5 years ago and still like 2.3 billion today.
But even that
Whereas,
would be impressive. You don't need the
sure,
growth to come from users. It can come from other things, from
yeah,
efficiency, from
you
so
can
okay. So
charge
just
more per user
yeah,
and
they
still
have
keep
so
the
much
same.
pricing power
Yeah,
for their
because they
advertising.
harvest like, what is it, like $12 per US user? You got,
Yeah,
300 million US users. That's a lot of money if you go
it is
from
a lot of
12
money, dude.
to. to 13 to
Yeah.
14. It's not
So
hard.
that's exactly the exercise I want to do. Well, how much can they get? But just I wanted to do I think the scale thing is important because in my
Yeah,
head I thought Facebook was like on par with these other ones and combined maybe similar to like a YouTube. So I was
right.
wrong on my basic assumptions, but they're 10x the DAU of Snapchat. They're 10x Twitter. I mean, they're a monster.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you know,
They're a
and
beast.
even a TikTok or a YouTube with massive reach, it's not close. So they dominate this DAU, and I think there's really like two levers, right? So advertising revenue makes up all the revenue coming in, right? That's the majority of the income. It's the main driver. I think that's going to impact how you value the stock, which is makes it a little bit easier. It's not like Tesla with Powerwall and Robotaxi and you're evaluating all these
Elon's tweet.
potential.
Elon's
You're
tweet.
evaluating whole entire different businesses. It's like, what
Yeah,
is a
yeah,
supercomputing business worth inside of a car company?
yeah.
This is pretty simple. It's
Minus
just
the
what's
expected value of Elon's tweeting, and then
yes, and plus 400% of expected timeline that like you're stuck making a lot of assumptions. This you can be pretty
yeah,
clear, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
yeah. You
understand
can
how
make
advertising model
you
works.
can model this. You can model this pretty
Yeah.
easily. Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think I think the other thing that's interesting right now, if you try to value the business, is you have to look at AI and how much they're investing in AI and what it would mean for the company. Meta, I think the biggest news is how much it's investing in AI. We talked about the glasses, the Ray-Ban partnership, which is kind of cool. But more this super intelligence labs, which is a group they're building. It's a $14 billion investment into a company, into Scale AI,
Mhm,
and it hired their CEO, Alex Wang, to help
mhm.
build their AI business, which is basically hiring really smart AI forefront runners and innovators. And they've been poaching the best people. I think it made the news. It was on Wall Street Journal. They're offering like 100 million plus comp packages
It's
to pull
NBA type
people.
salaries here.
I mean, you're talking, well, it's not
A
just
bunch of
NBA.
nerds.
These are like first round pick NBA
Yeah,
salaries. They're pulling they're taking guys from, I mean, they're taking from ChatGPT and OpenAI. They're taking
yeah,
from DeepMind, which is Google's AI. They're taking from Anthropic, which is Amazon's AI. And they're just pulling in really, really smart, talented people to build this out. So now you have to think. And again, if you're looking at a future state, who has the best AI or whose AI has the most utility, I worry Google, I haven't seen Google like Gemini. It's fine. It's
it
more all
sucks.
purpose.
It
It doesn't
sucks.
suck. It does. No, I disagree. It doesn't suck.
Okay,
It's fine. It's
okay.
fine.
I wasn't
It's not
impressed by it when I
anything.
used it, but maybe I should try it again.
For the most part, I also have not been impressed. Right? I think that's the
Yeah,
right way. It's not bad. It just doesn't do as well as the other ones do at almost any task. It's pretty
yeah,
good at everything and not great at anything.
yeah,
And you start to worry if they're pulling the best people out of Google, who's also in the advertising business, right? And they're
yeah,
they're pulling the best people from OpenAI, and they're able to build something to take advantage of these massive data sets that they own. Now you've got something interesting. So if you look at Q1, and this is why looking at Facebook since 2016 is almost irrelevant. Just look
right.
at the last few months, right? What is that investment done for them? I think you can see it in the numbers. Just creating ads is cheaper for them, targeting is easier for them, and they're able to optimize better. And that leads to really specific stuff. So if you dig into like what tools Meta AI has created for Meta to use, they have this thing called Advantage Plus Suite, which automates campaign setup, targeting, and creative. So 4 million plus advertisers now use that suite to advertise on their suite of tools, which that's great. They have a GEM, generative ads model that doubles the ad performance efficiency that they have. That's their reels. If you watch it, Instagram reels, conversions up by 5% on that. So like this is just in the last like 4 months. Incremental attribution. So that's a 46% lift in conversions by optimizing for ads that drive outcomes. That's a huge number. And then they've
Yeah,
got their creative set. So creative tools, auto generate images, videos, virtual try-ons. You see this stuff on Instagram. Mostly I'm sure it's on Facebook too. To your point at the very beginning, better engagement. And you are
mhm.
going to purchase and you'll be happier with the purchase.
Oh yeah,
So I think if you look at their Q1 and the ad revenue alone, 41 billion, that's 16% year over year. That's a big bump, right? And that's just since dropping in whatever AI capabilities are readily available. Their ad impressions are up 5% year over year. Their
yeah.
average price per ad, which is really how much they can charge those advertisers to play in the meta field of stuff, that's up 10% year over year,
That's big.
right? So
That's big. Yeah,
huge.
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that is the moat, right? If they're able
yeah.
to do this better, and that this is before the scale AI and before poaching all these good people,
Oh yeah.
the better they can do that. I mean, like you said, Zuckerberg, like he said on his call, I mean, the goal is to turn, I didn't write down exactly what he said, but he wants to turn the whole concept of advertising into an AI agent that does it for you, that he does minimal human input, and you can get massive economies of scale. So
You're right. So it would be a
I think
no-brainer to advertise
yeah.
on Facebook, like literally, and you don't
Why
even
would you
have to
advertise
figure
anywhere
out,
else?
oh, I want 40 to 50-year-olds who, have this particular education level as the user of my product. You just basically say, here's my product, figure it out, and then Facebook knows who to show the ad to give you the best amount of bang for your buck, and then you're like, well, it's a no-brainer. It's like you just give I will just give
Just
Facebook
give them the
my
money.
money,
Give them the
and
money.
then they
It'll
will get me
work.
the customers. Like, what? It's just magic, like
That's all anybody wants. That's
yeah.
all anybody wants. I want to give you the
You
money and
don't
I
even
want the
have to think
customers.
hard. Yeah, you don't think
I
hard.
mean, to tell you the truth, like I look at my business and like
Uh,
we help people find the customer. I don't want help finding the customers. I just want to give you the money and I want the outcomes. I want the
yeah,
deals. I
yeah.
want
Give
the
me the
conversions.
customers right away, like yesterday.
Yeah.
I needed them. Yeah.
That's what this does, man. And they're doing it better and better and better.
Hmm.
And I think what's really differentiating here, and again, I've started to, I went down the bull path and took it as far as I could take it. And then I tried to look through the bear case. There's a very compelling bear case too. But this bull case started to feel um not I mean, more and more likely, really, just because of the advantage they have of user data. A
No one's
10%
gonna
boost,
replicate this at this point.
you
I mean,
can't. You
TikTok
can't.
might come close, but like, yeah, it's still far behind.
Any
Yeah.
concern in the bear case for Meta applies tenfold to TikTok.
Mm.
Regulatory expansion limitations or restrictions, personal data. Like I feel like any hoop that Meta's going to need to jump through, TikTok will trip over. So
Right.
I don't worry about them eating their lunch. I think it's just how much can they extract out of that massive user base while they continue to grow and keep engagement.
Yeah.
And that AI is going to be the main thing. You've already seen it in Q1. They're throwing money at it. I mean, that's the thought would be it helps them raise their ad prices, which again, I don't know if they can saturate impressions without killing the user experience, but like they can charge more. They give a better return to their advertisers that work with them. That's huge. And they can grow their margin. The only
Yeah.
thing that eats with that is the CapEx goes up, for AI. You're gonna need
AI has a lot
infrastructure.
of capex. Yeah.
Yeah,
You got
and
to
you see
spend
it. I
money
mean,
to
it went
make money.
from I
Mhm.
think their CapEx I looked was like 65 billion or something like that, which is a lot.
Yeah.
The AI infrastructure spend is a huge line item, but you can easily make up for that with little incremental improvements on, all of those metrics. So I think it's a price I'd be very willing to pay to invest in AI infrastructure to see some of these conversion rates and ROI go back to the advertisers. It makes a lot of sense.
I mean, what's nice about it is that who is in the Magnificent Seven tech, group is investing in AI, and some of them have different prospects for return. At least with Facebook, the moonshot money that they're putting into AI has some pretty immediate returns because they can use that to improve their advertising business and also
Yeah,
increase engagement in the site. Because at the end of the day, what they're doing is they're harvesting people's attention and selling it to other people. So the better you
exactly.
harvest, the better you sell it, the more money you make. So
Yeah.
there's a return already on their investment. Whereas
Mhm.
for some other places, there's investment in AI, and then it's not sure where the money portion is going to come
Totally,
in.
and you're seeing
Yeah,
that already with all these
yeah,
I mean, OpenAI's partnership with Microsoft is falling apart.
yeah. Where's the money? Where's the money? Like, I
Where's
don't
the
know.
money?
It's just a lot of
And
fighting.
how are you Microsoft's like, "How are you helping us?" And OpenAI is like, "What are you doing for us?" Like, it's not clear that it's resulting in core business improvement. Like,
It looks
this
more
is
like a
so directly
distraction.
related
Yeah.
to
Eh,
Meta's business.
exactly, exactly. This is very like
Yeah,
important for like immediate ROI. And then I think the real moonshot is when you work on AI, it is existential for Facebook. They have to. They can't not work on AI because if it is true that we are building a super intelligence, like if it is possible, which I do actually think it might be possible. I don't know what the timeline is, but it is. I think we're trending towards it and we're going to get there one day. Like being the first to build a super intelligence means a lot than being like the second or the third. to build a super intelligence. And
It's funny. It's
if
yeah.
you
I want
don't
to
do
I
it,
want to talk
you're
more
kind
about
of
that.
screwed. I feel like if you don't
So I
try, you're screwed. Yeah.
yeah,
So
that's
what were we gonna
definitely
say?
true. I moved away from the this. I don't think this is a winner take all game.
Okay. You think there's going to
I
be
thought it was.
multiple super intelligences,
Yeah, I do. I do.
like in the olden days when the Greeks had a pantheon of gods as opposed to a monotheistic religion?
Yeah, I mean, they're
Okay.
all different models. They're built
All right.
differently. I think what is interesting about Meta's model, it's the only open source one. Yeah, I think it
Yeah, I
is.
hear you. I hear
So
you.
so you have there are different ways to come. It's a convergent evolution, right? There's different ways to get to an end state of super intelligence or
Mhm.
general AI that they don't have to be constructed the same way, and they may not give you, they may not look exactly the same, even if the output could be very similar. And so I don't think it's a winner take all game. It's not like, I can't think of another example right this second, but like, it's similar to Tesla. Like if Tesla was the only EV, like they need other EV players to build the infrastructure and to get people, the more people driving electric is good for the company as a whole. There's a ecosystem here, and I originally thought it's like OpenAI is up in front, huge. I'm nervous if another country builds an AI. Like I started to think about it as zero sum. I don't think this is zero sum, and I think because of the way that Meta's business is built and what their levers are for, again, just generating revenue, they're the best position to see immediate return on that. There are other
Yeah.
companies that can build amazing, like Google builds the best AI in the world. I think if I was, guessing or forecasting, it puts themselves out of business. They need to completely overhaul their business.
Yes. Yes.
Meta, the
It's
better the
negative
AI
for
gets,
them.
the
The
more money
better,
they make.
the
And that's the
better
game we're playing,
Google's.
right? Like we're picking
Yeah.
stocks here. We're not
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
I'm not trying to guess the future of the world. I'm just trying to tell you what's going to make someone money.
Yeah.
If Google creates the first, Gemini morphs into the greatest Gen AI tool out there,
Yeah.
that's awesome for the world
They're
maybe,
replacing
and
themselves.
maybe
They'll make the same
the
money while spending more
yeah,
money.
they'll come up with a super smart way to create a new business, but they would have
Yeah.
to create a new business, right?
Yeah.
I think
Well,
from a just cash flow perspective, just money, the
mhm.
easiest way to see a linear progression towards a super intelligence leading to dollars in your bank account. I mean, this is very linear. It's very straightforward. And you can do the math too. If you just wanted to model, let's pretend that not even super intelligence, incrementally better AI results in 10% better ad efficiency for them. Okay. What
Which
would
is
that
what
mean
they're
for the
doing.
stock?
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is what they're
so
doing right
you
already. Yeah.
saw it in Q1, and
Yeah.
I'm saying take a very reasonable assumption that with all this investment in AI and talent, they're able to boost, their ad efficiency by 10% with all those different tools. Right?
Big money.
They could
10% is
raise
big
the
money.
average ad prices.
Yeah.
It would be an incremental revenue. I think they had their ad revenue. Hold on, their ad revenue last year was 160 billion. So that's 16 billion. Just give them 10%. Yeah, incremental 10% increase in ad efficiency would give them 16 billion, right?
Yeah.
Let's assume it doesn't affect their operating margin. There's 41% or whatever to 40%. That adds it'd be like 6.5 billion of operating income. So maybe 5 billion of net income or $2, per share basically. And then
So
you take
basically, if you had to spend $50 billion to get an extra two billion, is that what we're saying in here?
no,
Are we getting six
I think
billion?
I'm saying if they kept their operating margin at 41%,
Yeah.
and you add 16 billion.
So 8 billion?
Yeah. So no, five, a little over five, probably in net income. So
Okay.
$2 per share, basically. I
Right.
think that makes sense. And
And
their
then you
PE
spend
ratio now is like 28, something like that, 26,
it's I
right?
mean, it's all a debate there, because then if
Yeah, I
you have to
just
spend 50 to get you have to spend 50 billion to get an extra, let's say 8 billion, right? Is that kind of
yeah.
return on investment what is important for you? Or
Is it?
is it like something that you accept as, I'll just grab that return because I have this longer term investment return in mind for building this intelligence?
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, well,
yeah,
the question is what
it's not
impact does
terrible.
that have on the stock price, right? So like
Hmm.
if you can generate two extra dollars of earnings per share on this, right? And
Hmm.
you just, multiply it by whatever the PE ratio is at the moment, somewhere between 26, 27, 28.
Mm,
8%, 7, 8%, something like that. It's not that
yeah.
exciting, but it would move the stock to about $800, right? Which it's
Mm,
now 715 or so. Reasonable return on a timeline of, I would say, 6 to 12 months from AI, returns. What's interesting there, so it's, I don't know, 50, $60 a share of value in AI investment. What I did then is kind of just stack on a little bit of increased ad spend. Like you said, why would you advertise with anybody else if it's so much more effective on Meta?
yeah.
And I was trying to be conservative. So 5% increase in ad spend. Okay. So
Mm,
people are spending, and I think it's probably going to come from not spending on other platforms. So I think it's generally competitively very good for Meta to continue to do this. 5% increase in ad spend. I think their ad spend, I don't remember what it was last year, but 16. Yeah. So okay, ad spend, we said 16 billion. So it's 8 billion for a 5% increase, plus that 16 billion. Change the incremental revenue is the same. It's 24 billion in incremental revenue. Same operating margin. Now it's $3 per share. So now you're talking about like 80, $90 a share.
mm,
That puts the stock up to about 850, 830, something like that. That's
mm,
closer to 12, 13%
yeah.
in a 6 month period,
Yeah.
which I think is very reasonable.
Yeah.
And that
I
becomes a
could
lot more
totally do that.
interesting to me.
Yeah, I could totally
Yeah.
do that. Yeah. It's not like we're not sitting here saying it's going to double or triple. We're
No,
saying
I don't
it
think
could
I
get,
don't think it has that potential. Yeah, not
yeah.
right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's good for kind of getting in and having some momentum in something if it gets these, basically like gets a couple of singles with the, hits a couple of singles with its AI investments and then increases its revenues and earnings. Um,
Yeah, I think that's an important point though. This isn't a Palantir where you can add, zeros. This
like
isn't
10x, 10x, bro.
yeah, you're not going to get a 10x on this. It's too big already and
And
it's
now,
already
I mean,
such
at this point, I'm not even sure you can get another 10x out of Palantir, but maybe
no,
that's
I
a
think
whole.
that's a different story. But yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's like buying Amazon or Google. You're not going to 10x on any of those. But they're relatively safe. I think the challenge is when you're buying a more mature tech company, those are the ones that are ripe for disruption, getting disintermediated by a quick startup, which is how Meta busts into this space in the first place.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that's really made me cautious with Meta in particular, I don't think they've ever built anything useful since Facebook. The only thing they like, everything's
Somewhere
been
out there,
bought.
as Zuckerberg is crying, there's a single tear running down his cheek.
It's all been bought. They haven't built. They've had a million spins of products. I mean, no one will remember Threads in 5 years. Like they've
I think you're
tried
right.
so many
I think you're
different
right.
things that just don't work.
Yeah.
So, how much can you can respect the brilliance of creating Facebook when it was created, and you can
Yes.
respect the behemoth that Meta has become, and as a well-operated business with good margins, they throw off
Oh, yeah.
capital, they've got a
It's a
nice
great
dividend, like
business. Yeah.
great healthy business. You can respect that all day long. I don't have the confidence that this is a tech, wizard that's going to be able to create the next great thing. And they're not creating anything. They really haven't
Yeah.
created much. They've aggregated other people's good ideas and combined them together, which
And
again, there is use in that with the data.
even the whole thing about like, I'm going to poach every single AI researcher
Same thing.
in the country who's ever done anything, and I'm gonna give them NBA level salaries. I'm gonna lock them together in a room inside my corporate headquarters, and magic's gonna happen. Even that idea, I respect it, but I like, people and groups of people and talented people put together in the same room, not built organically as a team, is actually like, I think, not a guaranteed recipe for success, but he has actually locked himself into spending a lot of money to put together effectively what is like the New York Yankees of AI.
But it's
Yeah,
the same mentality. It's I
yeah,
don't realistically it's like, well, it's and he bought scale AI is exactly that. It's I don't know how to
yeah,
create this. I'm just
yeah.
going to get a lot of
I'm
other
gonna just
people to
buy it,
do it.
and then I'm gonna hope you're gonna make something out of this, right?
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
is
crazy.
that different than Warren, right? Than Warren Buffett buying businesses or taking controlling stakes in businesses? Like I
Yeah,
don't know. It's a recognition that hey, I'm not an AI expert, right? I built a social media platform. I'm not an AI expert. I'm going to go
right.
bring in a lot of really great AI guys to build
Yeah,
something. Microsoft tried to do that for a really long time with all kinds of technology, mostly
yeah,
VR, and failed. But
yeah.
I don't have a problem with that approach either. My concern is just they've never really created something. Like I'd almost rather they bought
Yeah.
OpenAI, right?
Yeah. No, I mean the crazy thing is I watched the Grok 4 presentation just yesterday on XAI. I mean, it's basically Elon with a bunch of like no-name AI researchers that who are probably like on H-1B visas and very desperate to like stay in America. And he just built something that outperforms pretty much everything that's already exists, including OpenAI's most advanced models. And he came out of nowhere from like from zero position with a bunch of like no-name AI engineers. And Zuck, so there's something there. Like for whatever his faults are, Elon is like a pretty good technologist. Like I would say a world-class technologist.
Hmm.
And that achievement itself is impressive in my eyes. Now I know people will say, "Oh, you're a fanboy and you're a
You
racist,"
are a
and I'm like,
you are
I
a
don't.
fanboy though.
I mean, I'm a fanboy. I don't think I'm racist. Maybe I am. I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, oh, and you're a terrible person. I might be a terrible person. True,
Might
I'll
be.
admit that. But like I just think that objectively that's a good achievement, and you know, Zuck is taking the complete opposite approach here. He's not taking like hungry PhDs that are just out of the university and want to, bust their asses to create something amazing. He's taking people who have already achieved stuff later in
Yeah.
their careers and paying them like the big NBA salaries for like a 38-year-old LeBron, maybe. I don't even know, right?
So yeah, I mean, doesn't it remind you a little? I remember DeepMind was like the front runner in this in like AR, VR stuff eight
You
years ago.
Google
I don't know,
DeepMind?
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Google bought DeepMind, which
Mhm.
is basically what this is. It's I'm going to buy the front runner and all the talent, and we're going to do like, and they have the worst AI, and they have no VR, AR. I didn't even see a device.
I have
So
no.
like,
Ever since they won the chess tournament, I don't know what they've been doing. I mean, I'm sure
right,
they've been
but
doing
I'm saying
amazing things, but like,
take DeepMind as a proxy, right? You
yeah,
acquire this slightly more advanced, mature, acqui-hire, let's call it. You bring in these people, and they haven't made anything.
yeah, but
Yeah, just haven't, and
yeah,
we just said I think their Gemini is the worst of all of those chatbots. So
yeah, I don't, yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
not
I
quite
just
you.
I don't have 100%. And this is again for the bull case. I don't have the confidence that hiring all these people is going to result in those efficiencies and increases that we just went through.
That's my
That's
issue as well.
right.
I agree with
That's
you.
that's really the inflection that you have to decide if you're in or you're out. If you think he can translate that talent into, more optimization and efficiency and increased price power, then this is a no-brainer to me. It's just a safe company that's growing with a dominant market position that's scooping up talent and will continue to buy products that keep them at a huge advantage over everyone else. Period. It just feels um, safe, a safe way to make good money. If you can return, I don't know, 12, 13% through a known entity like Meta, that feels safer and better than sitting on 4% cash or treasury bonds, right? So
Yeah,
like, that's relatively interesting. And I don't think it's a huge risk. It's not like if it doesn't work out, the company goes to zero. They've had plenty of failed experiments. I mean,
and they
reality,
make so much money, they can
they
keep
just
failing 100
yeah,
times and still keep going. Like it's not
they have no problem
gonna stop.
failing either. They
Yeah,
threw all their eggs into
which
this
is good.
VR basket. It
Yeah,
honestly, it hasn't returned a nickel for them. It's
sometimes you gotta take the
bleeding
big
cash.
swings. Yeah,
They don't
but
care.
I know.
They don't
Yeah,
care.
there's just like
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I look around at who else is playing, right? I mean, you look at Apple and Apple Intelligence. I don't know if you've played around with that. It's awful,
It's not
awful.
usable. I turned it off. I turned off Siri.
Yeah,
I don't
Siri
want to use it.
is
It's annoying.
unusable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything. It's listening to me right now because I said her name. I mean, everything. Everything you do with that is just now that I use Copilot and ChatGPT so much, it just feels so archaic that it
Yeah.
doesn't understand what I'm asking it to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see these other tools and what the best minds are coming up with, and again, it doesn't translate directly to revenue in the same way that Meta's does. So it just feels like if you wanted to make a bet on AI continuing to add economies of scale and efficiencies to a business, this is the business you can see it most clearly for. And this is
Mhm.
a business that's already proven they can do that as of Q1. And this is a business that's throwing a tremendous amount of weight and resources into doing it going forward. So it feels like a relatively safe single, maybe double.
Yeah.
And I would be, I guess in some, I'm happy to park some cash there. It's not a home run for me. It's not I'm a buy, buy, buy. You're going to get rich on this stock. But it feels like for the next, for this period of AI disruption, this is a company I'd be a lot more comfortable with than a lot of the other players in the space.
Okay. So you'd be willing to buy it and then park a little cash in
Yeah,
it because
park a little
it's
cash in, or
it's not going to
park
be
a lot of
like
cash in it.
it's not going to be like a grand slam homer or something, but you can get
Correct. I mean, it depends how long.
single,
This
double.
space changes so quickly. It's such
Yeah.
a the terrain is crazy. The bottom line is a company like TikTok is more likely to get completely destroyed overnight because of a regulatory change. I mean, you saw it with Trump already, but
I
like
saw that. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
there's so much more risk in those businesses that make them more volatile. I mean, even a YouTube, like I don't remember what was that company that had like short form video, Vine. You remember Vines? Like
Oh
they're just
yeah, and
they're
Twitter bought them and killed them.
Twitter bought
Yeah.
them and killed it. Yeah,
Yeah.
which by the way made sense for Twitter to do. Like there are worlds where yeah, I don't think YouTube's going anywhere. I think YouTube's great. I love
Yeah.
YouTube. I also own Google stock, right? And
Yeah.
my thesis on Google, I actually think Google's in more risk than Meta.
Yeah.
For the
I
next
agree.
12 months. I think
I
Google's
agree.
business also based on ad revenue. Their form of ad revenue and the data that they collect, not safe. That's
Yeah.
a business that could get completely messed up. They could also pivot or change. They have really smart people there. It's also an incredible business. It's just
Yeah.
not as safe a place to park cash. So if you're looking for a relatively safe place for the next 9 to 12 months with some upside to it, I think this is a great bet. If you're looking for a home run, this is not it. If you're looking for a 10x, it's whatever. This is not it. If you're looking for again, if this was a bet on a single horse that's going to come up with super intelligence, I don't know if I would bet Meta either. I probably wouldn't. But that's not what
Mhm.
this is, right?
Yeah.
This is just here's a company that can use AI most efficiently to generate more revenue for shareholders.
Yeah. I agree. I think, one of the with doing this research, because I already started off at a disadvantage because I don't use the products as much. But one of the interesting things that I came across was, earlier this year they banned TikTok for like half a day or something before Trump reversed it.
Yeah, I remember.
But there's data on like the relative effect of what happened to social media visits during that temporary ban. So it's like the perfect randomized, the controlled experiment thing, testing what if this we lived in an alternate universe where TikTok had never existed. And in that like brief time period where TikTok was closed down, Facebook got an immediate 20% lift in daily average users. Instagram up
Crazy.
17%.
Yeah, I mean that's
Google
the other thing.
14% increase on YouTube, you know? Snapchat only a 2% increase. They ain't growing, you know?
Mhm,
But
mhm.
basically, imagine how much more money Facebook would be making if TikTok did not exist. They make great money, but they could even be making a huge amount of money if TikTok weren't taking some people away, you know?
Yeah, that's the other thing. And, if you do put a percentage risk of like massive disruption, a la banning it, that doesn't exist for Meta really. It's sub
No one's
1%.
banning Meta. That's crazy. Yeah, yeah,
TikTok has like a 50-50,
yeah.
30% chance that it gets banned or blocked.
Yeah,
And that's a
exactly.
force multiplier for Meta. Exactly. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
like
It's
that
true.
risk is not just like 30% versus 1%.
Yeah,
It's 1% for Meta, 30% that now translates to whatever that boost you just mentioned is. That percentage is added to Meta's upside.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I just it feels safe to me
yeah,
in a market where I really don't know. I think a lot of people, we talked about this, Gil. We were texting a
yeah.
little bit last week. It feels like there's a lot of people who don't know what to invest in right now. Just cash on the sidelines, inflation coming, maybe. You got, you know, um, you need to put your money to work, right?
If
I think
inflation's coming, you don't want the cash.
you don't want to be in cash. Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't want to be in cash. You got to
you
be
want
getting
hard
at least,
assets.
yeah, you
Yeah,
want to be in
or
something.
something that
You'll watch.
grows. Yeah.
Stock market hit an all-time high, yeah? I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
crypto's at an all-time high, so or
Oh, yeah.
Bitcoin. So, I think we're seeing that macro trend. Trump keeps hammering to, lower interest rates, and he wants to, there's lots of plays with this, but I
Yeah.
think I think
No,
if you're
but
looking at
not
inflation.
not to get super political, but basically the party that was supposed to be about fiscal responsibility is
Yeah.
technically not actually about fiscal responsibility. So there's no hope. Like neither party
No,
is
no one's
actually
rational
going
right
to
now.
spend. There's nothing that stops the money train. Nothing.
Yeah, the only person that
Nothing.
wants to spend less and force the recession is Elon, and he's been
Yeah.
booted,
And then
so.
he's they basically like tarred and feathered him and ran
Yeah,
it
he
out of
gone.
town.
He
Tried to
gone.
firebomb. Like I was worried getting firebombed in my Tesla, you know? And
Yeah, no,
I've always voted Democrat. I just want to put that out there.
you need one of those bumper stickers. You seen those? I bought this before. I bought this Tesla before Elon. Blah blah blah. Whatever. It's like they're so.
I,
It's so sad.
I feel like I got to wear a mask walking around in public with my Tesla. That's crazy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah,
just there used to be a time where it gave you a street cred, but
yeah.
it's the
Not anymore,
negative
man.
version of that. You
You're
know?
gonna be street dead. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't drive those. They'll firebomb you for sure. You saw they were blowing up Waymos in San Francisco,
Yeah, 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 that too, that too.
dude.
If only the CEOs of Waymo weren't so politically active. That's
Yeah,
their
exactly.
fault.
They're
It's their fault.
so Trumpy. I don't know. The world is crazy. You know what? The world is crazy and stupid. And you know what
Yeah.
they need? They need constant stimulation, and they get it on social media. And Instagram
Actually,
is
that's
if
the
Facebook,
biggest
like
argument for this thing. People get
that's
in
it.
less trouble when you give them doom scrolling on Facebook.
Just
Yeah.
put the pacifier in, man.
Yeah.
This is a pacifier. It's just take
I
you
mean,
make your brain go numb. Do if you watch Rick and Morty, and like they plug into something and they do the weird like lips graphic and the eyes glaze over. I mean, that's what this is.
you
And
know,
I hate to say it, but like for a lot of the population, that's probably okay.
when I was digging in and doing the research, and I always try to visualize a business, like how they make money, what their business model is, what are the drivers for revenue. And for me, the like sometimes the visualization gets a little wacky. And for me, when I was visualizing Facebook, I thought of the Matrix. You know how like
Mm.
people in the Matrix, I hope I'm not giving spoilers to anybody, but you know,
Movie's like
people
a
in the
hundred
Matrix
years
are
old, buddy. Take it
batteries.
easy.
They are like living batteries who live in these like little pods, and then the machines, they harvest their life energy. But to keep them in those little pods, they plug in these devices in their brain and make them live their like normal lives that aren't actually real, right? So that their energy, their life energy could continue to be harvested by the machines. And like that's what Facebook is. You are plugged into the matrix, you are living in an artificial reality, and your life energy, your attention is being harvested by the ad bots for
You know what this
money.
reminds me, Gil? We're
And
not
you can own a piece
this.
of that
Yeah,
for the low price of $700 per
you
share
can you
for
can own a piece of
1.8
that.
trillion dollars, bro.
It makes this sound really evil. No, I
It's
this
not
reminds me a
evil.
little.
It's an ad business. That's what it is. That's all it
When
is.
we
No, no.
covered DoorDash, you
Yeah.
remember, and you were talking about the Dash Pass, and you were like, it's an unhealthy thing to own, but
Yeah, I mean, it is.
it's you want to get your money's worth. You're like the more you order, the less you like. It's one of those things. It feels like you're investing in something that's inherently bad for for yourself or your species or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
again,
do you want to make money or not? That's the question. I mean, Philip Morris, tobacco, right?
there are people that will not buy cigarettes, alcohol,
And
all
have
the
fun staying poor. That's what I
have fun staying poor. Yeah,
no, but
nice.
it's actually, you know what? I've never bought Philip Morris
Same.
on their grounds as well. But I make fun of myself for not doing that.
Mm,
So yeah,
you
like
should have.
it's
Yeah, I think this is maybe it doesn't feel good. I don't know. But I also like there's something about like you said you try to visualize a company. I also try to visualize a brand. Like think and that's what brand image really is. Like I thought of Tesla and the image in my head has changed so much from
oh yeah,
like
Oh yeah.
a virtuous,
Green,
green,
good for the environment, tech
totally, totally.
forward, like on the
Now it's
cutting
got like
edge.
devil horns
Now
on it.
like MAGA,
Yeah.
nationalistic. I hate to use the word Nazi, but people associate it with that.
They're
And
not wrong to.
like
It's a
so
crazy shift, and I think
yeah.
if you envision other brands, like Google, I think, had a very virtuous brand,
Mhm.
what was it, what was their motto? They had a good motto. It was like,
Do no evil, I believe.
"Do no evil or do
Yeah.
good or something, be
Yeah,
bad," I don't
something
know.
like
But,
that.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
conceptually, that's something you want to identify with.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Reddit's supposed to be the everyman, right? Like,
Mhm.
the will of the people, the mass aggregate thought, like, you can be part of that experiment, that social experiment.
Until the
Um, you
bots
know
ran it over.
yeah,
So,
forget the reality of it. I'm
yeah.
just saying what the
Yeah.
perception of the brand is. And I
Right,
think
right, right.
Meta's is still relatively positive. I don't think people associate, yes, Zuckerberg's a robot. And yes, there's a lot of bad press and the Facebook movie and all there is an undertone of like capitalism and robotic late stage capitalism, whatever you want to call it, right? That
Yeah.
some of that
Kind of
undertone
dystopian.
is there, but they
Yeah.
don't have it's not like a TikTok that's stealing your information to
Mhm.
manipulate you in voting. And it's not like it's not like an intentional manipulation
Right.
in the same way that
Although
some of these other sites, like X, now has that association too because
I
of
think
Elon.
that I think people like any large social media platform is vulnerable to that. Not just TikTok or X/Twitter, but also Reddit and Facebook. Like, not the companies themselves doing the manipulation. I'm talking about being a target for anybody who does want to do mass
Yeah, no, I
manipulation.
mean that's a
Because it's
challenge that
like
any of those sites have to deal
it's like
with.
where the money is.
It's
Why do
more
you
the
rob banks?
association.
Yeah, yeah. Like, why do
It's
you
not
rob
like,
banks?
yeah,
It's because where's where the money is. And then why do
right. I mean,
you
all of those
influence
sites.
the social media sites? Because that's where the people are. Like,
Yeah, look,
it's
and
always
if
a
you want where the
target.
people are,
Yeah,
three and a
yeah,
half billion people, right? So
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
get that. I
yeah.
just think it's no one associates those negative things with the brand. It's not.
Right,
It's not that.
right,
It's
right,
not
right.
that there's a negative intention, and so it
Yes,
makes it a little bit easier to own that stock or to root
right.
for that stock or to want good things to happen. The same way I felt that way about Google for a long time as I've owned that stock, and even
Yeah.
Amazon, the most capitalist stock on the planet.
Hyper
It doesn't
capitalist.
hyper capitalism. It
Yeah,
doesn't feel, yes, they're trying to sell you things, but at least they're straightforward about trying to sell you things. They're not trying
yeah,
to manipulate you necessarily. So it
yeah.
has a different connotation than some of the other stuff. And I'm splitting hairs, but I do think it matters. Again, if you're in a long view, I can't really evaluate any tech right now for more than like 12 months. I just think it's too hard to do.
Yeah.
But for a 12-month period, this does feel safe and sturdy and not especially negative and not especially, it doesn't have the same downside risk as the other players here. And again, AI as a force multiplier for them translates much more directly to revenue and in turn money to your pocket. So yeah, I mean, I'm in on this one. Certainly short term. This is one you just have to keep an eye on. There could be announcement tomorrow. What was that company?
They
A
bought
Chinese company?
Luxottica. Oh, wait, wait.
No,
What Chinese
that
company?
like basically created a better model than
Deep Seek.
ChatGPT.
R1 Deep
DeepSeek.
Seek.
Yeah,
Yeah,
overnight.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
boom,
yeah, yeah,
hey, check this out.
yeah.
So like that can still happen at any
Oh yeah.
level, right?
Oh yeah. It could happen. Yeah,
But
yeah.
the reason this feels safer to me is it's just you're not going to displace 3.5 billion people's daily habits.
Yeah, it would take a very long time and a lot of effort. They're pretty
So
safe. Like,
yeah, and in
yeah.
that amount of time, if you saw that happening, that's a ship you could jump. So it's
Hopefully,
not,
it wouldn't be like the
yeah,
Titanic, right?
yeah. Well, even if it was, it'd be the slowest sinking Titanic in the history of Titanics.
There's
So
time to
you'd
steer
have
the
time
boat.
to you'd have time to react. This
Yeah,
feels this
get
feels
on the
like,
lifeboats.
yeah. There's enough
Yeah,
girth on this company that it's not going to sink overnight.
yeah. I think that's why, for me, I'm probably a pass. Yeah, I'll pass on this one. I feel like if like when I usually run a portfolio for my own investments, I don't really want to take small positions. I want to take large positions. And if I want to take a large position, it should either be in something where it's been down a lot, but I have a variant view of the company. Like, for
Mm,
example, if, Netflix was one day, saying like, oh, we've been doing really well with like the mailing the envelopes filled with CDs to people, but I want to now start doing everything on the internet. And then people are like, oh my God, sell, sell, sell. And it's down like 70% that year because of the whole internet idea, right? But I had the variant perception that maybe this whole internet video over the internet thing might work. Then that actually, like, I would like that to be in that situation. You could like load up a big money position relative to your portfolio. So like, in size, and hold it through because you've got a variant perception and some conviction in the whole thing. Right now, it's a fairly consensus that Meta is going to do well. There's no panic right now. So the price is kind of reflecting what
Oh
the
yeah, it's at
growth
the
and
higher end of its, yeah.
and
It's not.
it's not crazy out overpriced, and it's not crazy underpriced. It's just about right. So there's no, I mean, you're basically going to get a market return plus some premium just for like buying Meta. It's not going to make you rich. You make some money on it, but it's not huge, like you said.
Yeah.
So, and if I want to make a big position on it, like what is the upside for me for taking that risk in a big position? I want something that has been down a lot, but I have a variant view, or maybe is misunderstood in some way. Like it looks expensive, but it's not actually expensive if
Mm.
your variant perception is that the growth is going to be significantly larger than what it actually looks like right now. That's
Yeah.
also
But I think,
another good
all
situation.
that's
Yeah,
reflected here.
yeah,
It's you're
yeah,
you're adding a criteria to buy sell that it has to have, um,
yeah,
bigger upside than what this
yeah.
offers.
I'm
Which,
greedy. I want
well,
it. I want it.
yeah,
I
I mean
want it.
that's the point, right? We're looking for ones that can make you more money than just
Yeah,
putting it in an index fund. I'm not sure
yeah,
this beats
yeah,
an index fund even, right? So
yeah.
I
It's our
think it
stock picking.
will, but
Yeah.
not by a lot. You know what I mean? Like,
like
I
like
get what you're saying.
200 basis points. You'll beat it by 200 basis points or something. Yeah,
If it helps my season standings, I'll do it. But I think you're right. I don't think there's massive. I think it's very appropriately priced, and it's baked
Yep,
into
it's
dividend also on
reasonable.
this one. It's
Yeah,
treated like it's a big company. I mean,
yeah.
you're not gonna swing for the fences on it. If you want to take higher risks, tons of companies. So a couple actually I want to flip back to you. Maybe we'll cover on the next pod. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm in full alignment with you. I think our success criteria is a little bit different. This will outperform cash. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
It'll
I think so.
outperform treasury
Definitely,
bills. It'll
definitely.
outperform an index fund,
Yeah,
maybe not by much, but enough that it's a better place to park your cash. That's my
it is.
stance.
It is for certain. I think gonna outperform cash because cash has a negative rate of return. Even if you put it in a money market, it's gonna have
Yeah,
a negative rate of return because of inflation.
totally.
Yeah.
Yep. And I
So.
think
uh,
look, I would say your right comp is this, or you buy growth ETF or an index,
Yeah. We're all getting pushed towards the edges of the efficient frontier by inflation. Whether you'd like it or not, inflation is coming. And how big it's going to be or how bad it's going to be, you don't really know. Maybe it's like similar to the COVID style inflation. But like if you look at what houses in your neighborhood were priced at before COVID and you look at it now after COVID, that's roughly the inflation that we faced over the COVID money printing style period, right? And
so
we're
where are you
about to
putting your
do that.
cash, Gil?
We're
If
about
you
to
know
do that
that's coming,
again. You
so
know?
right. So if you saw that coming with housing, you could have theoretically bought houses.
Yeah.
Where are you parking your cash? Because that's a question I think about a lot. I've been hoarding cash to buy
Yeah.
a stock downturn that I thought was coming. I don't think it is anymore, or maybe it still
I
is, but you can't just wait.
well, you could. I mean, the thing is that you should realize if you're holding cash right now that you're earning a negative rate of return, even if it
Correct.
nominally is growing.
You're paying for the optionality to buy a
Mhm.
downside that might
That's the
come.
only thing that's great about it is the optionality. Now, what you're describing is a case of FOMO. The market is up. You're sitting on cash. You don't like the feeling. But is is jumping into the market the right thing when it's up? Like that's the hardest part. Like what if a couple of weeks into the froth like that we're experiencing right now, the healthies suddenly get weapons of mass destruction. Everyone panics back into cash, and you're down. And now you regret it because you FOMO'd in, and now you're down. You were holding cash, you missed the rally, and then you lost money on the panic down. It's not. It's a worse feeling to have. I think you just there's always chaos somewhere. You got to wait a little
Yeah.
bit. It's gonna happen. When you do now, when you do see a dip, you gotta make the determination: is this really the dip to end all dips? As in, we're about to go into the Great Depression for like forever, or is it something we're going to come out of? And if it's something you got to come out of, you got to talk yourself out of the fear, and then you got to buy. But
You know, but
if it is
it's
indeed the Great Depression of all Great Depressions, that's not the good time to buy. You see?
yeah. I mean, it's Warren Buffett. Yeah, it's buy when others are fearful, right? So
Yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah, I think
yeah.
you want,
It's the hardest thing.
but like if there's not fear, right? Like right now, it's
There's no
greed
fear.
that's
It's
driving,
the
or
opposite. It's
no
greed. Yeah.
greed, all greed right now driving the markets.
Oh yeah.
There will be a yin and yang, but do you want to sit on the sidelines for, it's been greed for years. Like how long can you sit on the sidelines? If you're
Well,
saying I need to
there
wait
was
for people to be
the April tariff scare where everything went down a bunch. I
for two
remember.
seconds,
Yeah, I remember Bitcoin was down to 79,000 on April like 9th
was
or
it?
something like that. April 9th, look it up. 79,000. What
I
is it
believe
now?
you.
100, 118, 100, 117?
Rich. Yeah.
It's only been
No,
a
I
couple
get
of
it.
months.
So we have to find. I think whatever we cover next, or as you look at the market, I guess if we're giving advice, you want to find that fear, right? Where is the fear
You already
affecting
got to
the
wait for it.
price?
You got
Yeah,
to
or
wait
you
for it.
just got to be patient.
And see,
Got to be patient.
the thing about it is that every fear, in order for it to produce the kind of prices that you want, has to be credible. Like, it has to be an 80% credible fear
And you'll
in
feel it
order
too.
for people to panic. And therefore, because it is a real credible fear, you yourself will also be afraid
Yeah.
because it's a credible and logical fear.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The key is
That's the
just
only way to actually get the price that you want. But you have to kind of talk yourself into asking yourself, how temporary is this, or is it a permanent structural issue? Do you know what I mean? And if you don't ask that secondary question, then the first question, which is this a credible fear, is actually like you've already answered it. Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, for sure it's
yeah.
scary. That's why the market's down. The market's not stupid, at least not on the first order. And maybe not even on the second order, but on the third order basis, it actually is stupid. If you can
Mm.
get yourself to a third order thinking, then you might be good.
It's like
That's the only
that
way. That's the only
meme.
hope.
It's like that meme with like the levels of intelligence, like the different kinds of thinking. Yeah, you need to be there.
I still need to get to that first order because I'm still lagging behind. But what I'm going to tell you, once I get on that first run, everybody look out.
Yeah. All right. All right. So I think we're on the same page, even though
Yeah,
we
we're on the
differ
same
in
page.
the suggestion. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think
that's
we
good.
need to
And then
find more of those home runs.
we've got a bunch of episodes in the pipeline, so hopefully we can finally close out season 3 and then get to the get to the
I want to
next
go. I want
next
to check
next
our
round.
spreadsheet as soon as we hang up on this call.
All right, good, good. You can start trash talking me later, but
Do
all
I have to
right.
get my rings? Do I have to get my? I don't
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to.
I have it on an Amazon subscription for you.